Hi and welcome back to the channel. My name's Drew. This is the Just a Guy Linux YouTube channel. So this is going to be part 2 of our DWM build on Debian stable. So the very first thing I want to do is I want to change my bashrc because that would make things a lot easier, at least for me. So what I'm going to do is go on Alt-P and go to Firefox, and I'm going to go to my GitHub and look in my DWM. If you've downloaded it, it's there now. I don't know that it was there before. So yeah, it was only there yesterday. So I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to just say raw, Control A, and copy. Now I'm going to open up a terminal, and we do that by Alt-Shift-Enter. And we're going to move the current bashrc, bashrc to .bashrc.bak. Okay, and let's go ahead. Go ahead and blow this up a little bit. Okay, and let's go ahead and say micro.bashrc just to add another one, and Control-Shift-V as in Victor, and I'm going to save that. So Control-S and Control-Q. All right. Now I just have to say bash, and I've got my new bashrc. I've showed this before. There's a couple like aliases that I like to use. So the very first thing that you should know that I will be using is this. Well, I'll use a couple of these, but the GC for git clone and the E for editing. Okay. Now, I might as well change this while I'm here. So actually BS, which is bash script, and it's not BSPWM, is it? It's DWM, and Control-S and Control-Q and bash or reload, either one is fine. And now if I type hi, it shows up here. This is welcome to my DWM. So no big deal, just a little something. All right, I'm going to go ahead and clear the screen. The thing that I did not do during the installation was to create a swap partition. And that's because I wanted to create a zram swap. And so we're going to do that right now by saying sudo apt install zram tools. And let's go ahead and do that. And now let's sudo micro etc default and zram swap. Okay. Now we're going to go over and uncomment the algo equals zstd, and we're going to go over and uncomment this, but by putting 25% in, and Control-S, did I do that? Control-S, Control-Q. All right. Now let me show you something real quick. lsblk, and you'll notice that it says zram 256. Now it actually won't start the 8 gig swap until we've rebooted. And let's go ahead just to complete that thought, and let's go ahead and reboot. And get a little bit longer than I thought. And let's go ahead and open up a terminal, and let's make it a little bit bigger and say lsblk again, and you'll see that the zram is now essentially 8 gigabytes. Okay. You know, I watch a lot of YouTubers that are a lot better at DWM than me. So again, this is me being incredibly, trying to impart beginner wisdom to people. I'm like I said, I'm not an expert at this by any stretch. But let me just show you what I think is interesting about this master and stack layout in its purest form. This is the way that DWM or the Suckless guys have designed this, and we're going to patch this in about a minute. But I do want to show you a couple things. So if I open up a new terminal, for example, okay, you can see that what was in the master is now put into the stack. So this is new, this is old, okay? And if I add, I don't know, one more thing, let's say, okay, everything gets moved down the stack. So anything new is going to be master and everything else will be stacked accordingly, okay? I'm going to close one of these, all right? Now, if I hold the mod key, which is Alt, and I hit Enter, it switches the two, okay? So stack becomes master and vice versa. So I can switch the two around, okay? And then if I hold Alt or the modifier key down and I type the letter H, I can resize whichever I'm in, which, you know, right now I'm in the stacked side, so I'm going to be able to move it back and forth, okay? And let me, like I said, I'm not great at this, but let me go ahead and start again by going and opening up Firefox. All right, let me Alt-P, Firefox, and it's actually in 9, so actually, let me go ahead, let's just use 9, so I'm going to close this and then say Alt-9, and we're going to go to something called dwm-flexipatch, okay, and it's actually right there. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to use this flexipatch utility to add a bunch of patches. Now, patches are incredibly useful in getting more functionality out of DWM. So DWM, most people know that is written so sparsely that if it is not within, I think it's 2,000 lines of code, it does not get put in. And they're using C to code everything. Incredibly powerful for what you get out of 2,000 lines, which is why it's so stinking lightweight. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and open up another terminal here. All right, let me get it a little bit bigger, and we are going to go to the .config suckless, and if I type ls, you'll see that DWM is there. What we're going to do is we're going to add a couple folders to it, and one of them is going to be this. So we're going to copy that, and gc, which is git clone, and we're going to copy that, and we're going to enter. Okay. Now, while we are here, we are going to get this flexipatch-finalizer, and I'll explain that in a second. Okay. Let me get the code copy. All right, and gc control V, and then we're there. And now we've got multiple. You know, we've got the two repositories that we need. Okay. So let me open up another tab over here just so you can see where I'm talking about. I'm going to go to DWM. Let me just do this real quick. There we go. Let me just go to the patches. So patches. And you'll see this list of patches. Now these are going to add code to DWM to, like I said, add functionality. Now, if you want to have good documentation anywhere, and it's not going to be great. Some of these are really challenging when it comes to documentation, but like for example, what's a really popular one? It's the start. Or even Scratchpad. You can see what Scratchpad allows you to do. Autostart is something that most people use. okay? And it's, you know, basically says run the user.dwm autostart.sh, okay, as a handler. If you're, and the reason why we need this is because we are not using the xinitrc, so start x. Since we are using the Li console manager, this is the best way to get stuff loaded at boot. All right. So what do we want to do? Let me go over here to 8, and we're going to open up Thunar. Okay. And I want to go to the .config suckless, and here are the two clones that we just made. All right. And I'm going to go into the dwm-flexipatch, and I'm going to open this with mousepad. Okay. Now, here is a list of all of the patches that are available. And all you need to do is, if you see one that you want, you change this 0 to a 1. Okay? Now, granted, there are a lot of people that will patch DWM manually by a process that I understand, but I've often taken way too much time to like debug things and stuff. So when I found this flexipatch thing, I thought to myself, this is perfect for people that don't want to put that much time into it. And I was one of them. So what I want to do is put about, I don't know, 8 or 10 patches to add functionality to our DWM build. Okay. And the very first thing is I was trying to keep like in order because I have a list that I'm looking at, which I will provide in the description below. But while I'm here, I just want to say Control F, always center patch. Okay, right there. And I want that one 1. And the reason why is because floating windows are centered. So like if you have a scratchpad, for example, that would be 1. I was thinking about this as a. I'm going to go ahead and put attach aside and build that. Now I'm not going to stick with it because I am going to switch it to attach bottom, but I want to show you that it's really simple to switch it. Yeah, you know what? You get the idea. If you had to redo this, all you would do is put 0 and then say 1. And that's it. And then have to rebuild. Okay. So attach bottom was definitely one of them. Autostart is the third. There was a movestack that I wanted to. All right. That's 1. And let me think. Pertag is definitely 1. Let me go ahead and put that in. The restart sig is definitely 1. Now let me go down here. Scratchpads. Let's add that. 1. And where was that one? It was called status all mons. Okay. Now, I am not a user that has multiple monitors. If you were, this is something that you definitely would want. Okay. This status all monitors. Okay. I'm not going to add it because I just don't have one. But if you do, if you use multiple monitors, this is something that you would need. Okay. Let me see. Vanity gaps. Did I move stuff over? There we go. This would be a 1. and status 2D. That's definitely one. And I'm going to add one more. Status, I think it's padding. All right, and one. That might be something I need or not need. I'm not sure. I was just looking at it and I thought to myself, you know, that might be something I want. You know, vertical padding in the status bar. Okay, so let's go ahead and save this. All right. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back over and I am going to cd into the dwm-flexipatch. And what we're going to do is sudo make clean install. Put my password in, and boom. Now, I want to show you something real quick, okay? While I'm here, notice the size of this file. So this config.def.h is 92 kilobytes, okay? And you want to say, well, that's not so bad. All right, well, let's do a little bit of a comparison to the original. So the DWM originally was only 6 kilobytes. So incredibly small. So when I want to finalize, there's a lot of basically superfluous code that goes into this build. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the finalizer, which will strip out that code that's not being used, okay? So, in order to see this new build, we're going to Alt-Shift-Q. Okay. Now it's going to close everything, and that's fine. But when I log back in, we should see some gaps. So you see the gap, you know, basically the border of the gap, and I know that it's worked. But you know what? I forgot something real quick. I was going to make a mistake just so that I could correct the mistake. So I actually made a mistake on with not meaning to. So what I'm going to do is Alt-P and mousepad and see if the patch is def. What I forgot was if I wanted a systray or not. So let me do a Control-F systray. Yeah. All right. Let me get this one. All right. And I'm going to save that. And let me get that up. And we're going to go to the cd into .config suckless dwm flexipatch. And let's do that sudo make clean install again. And there you go. All right. So what I think, since we did get since we did put that one patch in, that is the restart sig, let's see if that will work. And I'm trying to remember, but let me go and Alt-P Firefox, because I think it's a different key binding. And, oh, right here. No, that's not it. Restart R. Sig. Okay, mod. So it's Alt, Control, Shift, and then Q. Q. All right. So, I mean, I didn't have to basically go all the way out and relog back in. So I think everything worked. So that's how you do it. It's Control Shift Alt Q until we change our until we change the modifier, which we will do after after we finalize this code. All right. Let me check something real quick. I want to make sure that this worked correctly. So I'm going to go over to Workspace 2 and open up my Thunar, because I want to look at the timestamps on things. So config suckless dwm-flexipatch. Okay, and yeah. So there. Okay, what I want to do to make sure that this worked correctly, all right, is I'm going to delete the config.h because it wasn't there before, and then the patches.h, and move those to trash. Now let's go back over to 1, and let's do that sudo make clean install again, and let's see how that changed things. Okay. Now, I think that's right. I think what we need to do is basically eliminate that, those files, so that it makes a clean install. Okay. So let's do something also quickly and see. I think this will work fine. I'm going to go ahead and actually cancel, and let's go ahead and just close that. And let's go back to 2. And I want to show you something. You know what? We should probably do this later. All right, let me go ahead and close the tab. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this dwm-flexipatch, which is kind of bloated, and we're going to move it using that flexipatch-finalizer. All right. Let me go up 1, and we're going to rename this folder, which is our original DWM build, and just say the folder's name is dwm.orig. Okay. And I'm going to create a new folder called DWM. All right, and there's nothing in there, right? Right. Okay, so let's go over here, and we are going to use this flexipatch-finalizer to strip out the code that is necessary to make it as lean as possible. All right. So let us go to let me go ahead and clear the screen, and we're going to the flexipatch-finalizer, and let's look at that. And there is a shell script that's going to be used to customize the code. Okay, so in order to accomplish this, we need to use the flexipatch shell. We're going to -r and -d, and we're going to use the .config suckless flexipatch folder, and we're going to output that to the .config suckless DWM folder, and boom. What did I do wrong? Oh, I used the wrong dummy. Okay, let's do that again. Sorry. So what I did wrong was this is not the right. This is the wrong directory. So what we need is flexipatch, right? Or dwm-flexipatch, right? There we go. Now that should work, right? Okay, my bad. And there you go. All right. So let us go over to the DWM, and now it's populated with everything. All right. Now what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to delete this, and I'm going to delete, I guess that's it. That's all I need, right? And I'm going to go back over to, actually, let's just do it this way. I'm going to open in mousepad, And I'm going to go down to mod 1, wherever it is. Okay. So up until now, this mod key, mod 1 mask, is the alt key. Now if you want to change this to the super or the command key, all you do is type change 1 to 4. All right, and I'm going to do that myself and say save. And let's go back over here. Now that it's in the DWM directory, we're going to go to CD into DWM. And now let's sudo make clean install. Let's go back over. I just want to make sure that it built that config H, and it did. Okay. And so now when I hit Control-Shift-Alt-Q, all right, I'm hoping that that changed my Alt to now the Windows key. Okay, so if I'm over here and I say Super-Shift-C, boom, it closed the window. Super-Shift-C, boom, it closed the window. Okay, now we're cooking. All right, let us finish up by doing two more things. One is we're going to put in a wallpaper. All right, let's, you know what? I'm going to super P. Yes, super, not alt, but anyway. All right, let's go to Thunar. And when we first downloaded from my repository at GitHub, I put in a local share dwm autostart.sh. Okay, now I'm going to copy that local share and then create a folder called dwm, and I'm going to paste that there. And let's see what, I don't even remember what's in it. It's SL status, applet, PyCom. I don't know if I have that yet. So let me, I don't know if I have a conf file yet. Let's go ahead and look real quick. I don't think so, but config and no. So let me just go ahead and, let us comment that for now. And nitrogen, and I'm not using XXHKD right now. Let's see if we will at some point. Okay. Again, I don't know if this will work, but I just want to make sure that it's in, and mostly to get this nitrogen. Okay. So let's save. And do I need to, since it's an SH file, let me go cd into .local share dwm, and let's say chmod +x autostart. Okay, and now let's, okay, so it's we restarted. Let's see if we can just put a let's put a wallpaper in. Wallpaper Debian dinosaur. Ooh, how about that? Sure. How about that? Let's save that as on pictures. And oh, look at that. Oh, I didn't even notice. It's up there. It's up there. We've got our volume and our network. All right, so far so good. Let us super P and go to nitrogen, and let's say preferences, and we're going to add the directory for pictures. Select, And let's go ahead and select that. And we are going to zoom fill and hit apply. All right, Super Shift C. And we are, oh, and SL status got put in there. Man, we are cooking with gas now. Okay, all right. Let us Super Shift Q. And let's go ahead and relog back in just to see if everything worked. And we are good. All right, so for now, that is it for today. And we will be working on SL status and some other stuff next time. All right, take care.